everybody, we're back, and so now I wanted to talk about the first handout that I want you guys to do. So you've already written me and you've told me kind of what your background is, who you are, what you're all about. You've given me your LinkedIn profile and any other profiles that you might have online, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, any, Altium, whatever, whatever employers could see if they come looking for you, what you want them to see anyways. That's another story. But so now I want to talk about the first handout that I want you to fill out, and I'm going to call that your career goal, your dream job plan. So the dream job plan has a few components. I'm just going to look at them and reading right now. So first is your professional objective, and so that's if you have a certain role that you want to get at or a company you want to work for, you want to write that down. Give me like a 3-line statement about kind of where you are now and your objective with some details. Next, there's target functions and jobs. So, flesh it out a little bit. If you actually have some job recs that you've been looking at, then write the job rec links in there so I can see them. And then, tell me what the role is. And I'll look at the job recs and I'll just get a sense of kind of what you're looking for. And if you have more than 3, that's fine. I might not be able to get to all of them if you have more than 3, but I will try. So the next section is kind of like your positioning statement. It's a little bit like your elevator pitch, but it's a little different, and I'll show you how. So and then you put your current or primary work role, and then like a secondary work role if you have one. Like let's say you're a mechanical engineer, but you're also in charge of making tools, or you're in charge of looking for molders, or if you're an electrical engineer and you are training an intern, or if you're a software engineer and you lead a scrum, like a daily scrum, or like if you're like do a burn down list or something like that. That's what I want to know too. And then I want you to say like a concise phrase that describes what you've been doing in your career. So this can talk about what you do designing, or what you do kind of like in a team dynamic. Like if you feel like you've been ensuring like a high quality of product throughout the development process, or if you've been ensuring that communication flows among the team, or if you've been ensuring that you always get a quick turnaround with your board, something like that. So you want to also write like a record of, and that's kind of like a theme of something that's been consistent and growing. And if people talk about personal brands, and you can kind of mention that, something that that you like to be known for, that you have a good reputation for. Of course, not a bad reputation for anything, but it's like a good reputation. Like if you have a reputation for always getting shit done, pardon my French, but getting it done fast or something. If you have a reputation for just finding great components, for having like relatively error-free, for just finding great concepts to put into practice, things like that. And then you want to also have over the past year something you've done, something that's going to be very attractive to your potential employer. So, over the past year, I've helped my company develop a new software platform for our mobile product, and I pushed it out to 1 million users. And the result of that has been a higher profit, has been more purchases or subscriptions. So that's an example. Just something that is kind of when you take it to the bottom line, then somebody goes, okay, well, great, this person is actually getting something valuable done. They're not just kind of treading water, or doing things that don't matter. So that's the main point of this. It's starting to think of that. And then there's also a section down there called Competencies, and that's where you just write down. It's very self-explanatory. Write down some main talents or traits that you're proud of, that are useful. You also want to write down things like knowledge or skills that you have, but also that you need. So this is where you start getting introspective about not just what you can do, but what you may need to do that you don't have those knowledge or skills yet, and what you'll need to acquire. And that'll start getting you thinking, before you even apply to jobs, that you can do some studying so you can develop, and so you can talk intelligently about those skills that you're going to need to talk about during the interview process. So then there's a couple other ones. Personal differentiators, what makes you better or different than others in your role or company. What makes you better. Then you got the target market. So, tell me about things like geography, target industries you want to work in. Tell me what kind of organization you think would be the best size for you. Do you thrive in like a really scrappy, small startup company? Do you thrive in kind of like a mid-size, where you got a few hundred people? And would you be great kind of in like a big, monolithic kind of company like like Samsung or Apple or GE or Google, something like that. SpaceX, I would kind of put them in the middle, even though they're kind of big, but as far as organizationally, they still do a lot of things like a mid-sized company. So, think about what you like. If you like kind of a well-defined role, if you are good kind of making things work within that system, the corporate system, that's a plus. It's not just a minus. You hear a lot of people talk about how corporate structure is it's so buttoned down and slow moving, and I think there's more to it than that. Big companies have enormous resources, and to be able to navigate through all the different groups, that's very important in order to get things done, important things done. But also, on the other hand, small companies are a force to be reckoned with too. And if you are great working with ambiguity, and you don't need to be told what to do, you can do a ton of different things at once. You balance a lot of plates at the same time. That's a huge asset too. So talk about that. And then target company list. What are those companies you want to work for? Are you just obsessed, like I was with SpaceX? Are you obsessed with an awesome company like Thumbtack or Uber or or Amazon, or smaller companies like Oculus, or anyway, let me know if you're obsessed with a particular one. And no matter how small or obscure, just let me know, because it's all about that plan of attack, about coming across when they first consider you for that job, of just jumping off the page and just being like, oh my god, they sound awesome, let's talk to them, let's set it up now. So next section, compensation. So that's important. You got to know where you're at with this. It helps you know what kind of jobs to apply for. It also it's sort of a humbling experience if you maybe look at your own experience and what you've done, and if your compensation is in line or out of line with what you're doing, or your expectations are in line and out of line. So you want to look at this. You also want to look at like salary.com, glassdoor.com. I like Glassdoor. I think that's the best of them, but feel free to use others. And just kind of write like a range, and look at variations of the job title and the company. Don't just go for like the highest of the range, because then you might be disappointed if you don't quite get the high end of that range, but it might not necessarily be representative of the actual range that is out there. And your salary might not be bad, but then again it might. So you really just have to do some research. Also think about what kind of things actually are important to you. For some people, it's having vacation or having flexibility, which I completely understand. And if you got kids out there, I think that's a big thing. Other things, 401k, retirement, definitely important. I'll just say some companies, they don't have a 401k match, but they make up for it in other ways. Like you can get like stock options, which can be much more valuable at times. Just figure out kind of what you're going for. And then the last parts are strategy and tactics and potential obstacles. So, the strategy, what I learned in business school was, strategy is knowing what makes you different and better, and then, leveraging that, using that to your advantage to, in a way that other competitors can't. For example, Amazon strategy is, they have, they started out, just selling books, obviously, but they built, they had the lowest prices for books that gave them the cash flow to build an amazing distribution system, and that allowed them to sell more. And so now they're selling everything. They have this amazing system that other websites really can't compete with. Amazon also has great incentives like Amazon Prime, free shipping. They've got Amazon, the great sales, and so other companies can't really touch them anymore because they've invested so much in what makes them better that it's just not even a contest. Who buys books from BarnesandNoble.com if they don't have to? So what makes you different? How is that difference going to give you a competitive advantage? It can be part of your personality. It can be part of your work ethic. It can be your technical skills. It can be your soft skills. And soft skills are very important, and that works very well as a differentiator because you can demonstrate it in the interview, and it's also something that that somebody can experience and feel. Or your unique interests and passions. For example, if you're going for a job at Apple, if you're a diehard Mac geek, who's written an iOS app, obviously that's going to give you a heads up over somebody who's been a PC user their whole life. You're talking passionately about it, then that's going to be huge for you. So you can use that experience to give you a leg up. For me, when I interviewed with Beats, my big advantage was I'm a huge music guy. I've recorded albums, I've played in bands, I've done, I am very passionate about music and that whole experience, from being a content creator to being a listener. And that with my engineering, it really gave me a very powerful skill set, but also the perspective. And they really wanted somebody like that to fit in their culture. So that they were really interested in that. How are you gonna strategize moving to another job? You might have to block off some time. You might have to kind of shuffle things around in your schedule because, while this shouldn't take 40 hours a week to do, a good job search I think will take you about 20 hours a week. So you've got to be able to find that time somewhere. And unfortunately, some of that time is going to come at working hours because, surprise, that's when your hiring manager is going to need to talk to you. So you're going to need to find a little bit of flexibility there when needed. And, so start blocking off time or making sure you can do that. And if you're transitioning to another job at your same company, think about who you would pick to maybe give that work to that you're currently doing. And then talk about personal obstacles. Be realistic. There are obstacles to every goal. No one's perfect. You might have a lack of experience. That's normal. You might have a lack of certain skills, lack of relationships with people you need to talk to get this job. And they're not showstoppers. You'll overcome them. This is all just part of making your plan so that you can get over it instead of letting these obstacles stop you in your tracks. And so it's just writing these out so you can really get a sense of where you are and where you're going to go next. And I will help you, review that and figure out what to do next. So thanks a lot for watching this segment, and I'll see you next time.